changing the world. That sounds really big, but I honestly, truly believe, oh, here I go. I'm so determined not to cry this time, but I knew I was going to, so whatever. Okay. I honestly, in the deepest part of my being, I believe that every single one of you is called to change the world. But I think we often get very confused about what that looks like. And I think it often becomes a weight instead of a joy and a passion, because our generation has been told, I believe, I've heard it like so many times, and I'm very grateful for people speaking into me, that you are called to change the world, you're going to go out there, you're going to do big things, you're going to be amazing. And it was making up for this generation that got told that they were nothing, which is terrible, because every one of you is so, so valuable. And if you don't believe that, you need to start getting into scripture, and there's a million verses in there that will tell you just how amazing you were created to be. And I'm not going to stay on that point for long, but you are so amazing. But then we get to this point where it's like, okay, you're so amazing, you're called to change the world. And it's like, I have to go and I have to do something so big. Like, I must have to go and start an organization, or I have to go and pastor a big church, or I have to go to the other side of the world to India and start an orphanage. You know, I have to do something really big because that's what changes the world. And we become so overwhelmed and we get so confused because we feel like we're never going to get there, we're never getting anywhere. We feel so small and so young and so powerless, and we're like, I have no skills, I have no gifts, you know. And I think we just get like really lost in how exactly we're supposed to be changing the world. And I got this, last year I went to Costa Rica for about 5 months, and I was on a mission trip with YWAM. And while I was there, we went on outreach, and we had to share in front of churches and speak, and that was like terrifying for me, but I did it. And one of the things that God asked me to share when we were sharing with some youth was about changing the world, and he gave me the verses in 1 Corinthians 13 where it talks about love, and he said, just read those for a minute. And like he was just talking to me, and so I'm going to read this to you guys. It's the verses that go, if I speak in the tongues of men and of angels but have not love, I'm a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. If I give away all I have, if I deliver up my body to be burned, but have not love, I gain nothing. And I just started thinking about that, and I was like, it's so easy to get caught up in like, I have to change the world, so I have to do something powerful, like I have to have some sort of great like knowledge or great revelation or great something that I can share with people or do some crazy big thing. But right here in the Bible it talks about all those things are so useless if you don't have love. And I just started thinking about that, and then also in the Bible where it talks about how God is love. And we often think like, yeah, God loves us, oh he loves, and he gives love, and he, you know, all this love stuff, but he is literally love. Like that's who he is. It's not just something that he does, and that's something that we're actually supposed to become as well, because we're supposed to be like him. And I think that the way we actually change the world is so much smaller and simpler than we might think. We get so caught up in the big things that we never ever start right now and start doing the little things. And I wrote this quote down that I just like thought of today when I was thinking about this whole message that I wanted to share, and it says, how can we transform the world if we are not transformed?
Amen.
And I think that every one of us right now can start transforming the world, but you have to let yourself be transformed first. And the thing that transforms you is God's love, because that is the most powerful force out there, you know? In the verses when it talks about like, you know, if you don't have love, all this is nothing. It's not saying that all this is nothing, it's just that if it's not done with love, it's nothing. So your first school is to actually learn how to love and learn how to be loved. And we're actually going to do an activity after I'm done talking where we're just going to learn to start hearing and experiencing how much we are loved. But I want to take the pressure off of like, yes, I believe you're called to change the world, but I don't think like you have to go do something crazy. If that's what God's calling you to do, go for it. Those things are amazing. But you can actually do it right now. Like, you should be starting right now, and you should be changing the world around you right where you are with how you love people. We need to learn that love is literally the power force behind everything that we do. You could be serving people at a restaurant as a waitress and be changing the world because of the way that you love those people. You know, you could be cleaning someone's house and changing the world because you're cleaning their toilets with love. I mean, that sounds so stupid, but it's so true. Like, if you don't believe that love is the power behind what you're doing, you're not going to get anywhere. And we also, that's another thing, we seem to wait when we're listening to God and trying to hear from him and want to experience him. We always wait for like these really big revelations. But I think we very often miss like just hearing him say, I love you. There was this one speaker in my DTS when I was in Costa Rica, and he was so good. He was speaking on the Father Heart of God, and he just talked about how, you know, we want to, like, these young people, like, we want to go out and do all these big, crazy things, and we want to do all this awesome stuff. He's like, yeah, you have the energy. He's like, you go do it. He said, but never forget that, like, you need to hear the simple things from God. Like, you need to hear him say that he loves you. He said, sometimes I need to hear God say to me 100 times that he loves me before I can go on with my day. So that's just true. He's like, I'm old, and you would think, oh, well, you can just, you know, you're so wise, you saw all these things, you know, whatever. And he said, no. He said, I still have to sit down every morning and hear God tell me as my Father that he loves me. And he said, so many people just forget to do that, and that's actually what gives you the power to go out into your day and to make a change and to do all these things. And I really want to encourage you to start listening for the little things that God is saying, because the big revelations, all that stuff is so powerful, so beautiful, but it can feel so far like out of reach that we just like kind of go on with our lives like living and just wait for that to happen, and then something will change, and then, you know, we'll build something with our lives. And we never actually stop right now, right here, and say, God, what do you say to me right now? Like, what, do you love me? Do you, like, all these things, we don't just listen for that. Like, we end up wasting our life waiting to change the world, waiting for that big thing to change the world when we should be doing it right now, right where we are. That same speaker, he talked about how God speaks like a father speaks over his baby. And he said, if you really think about that, he said, they don't really say much. You know, it's just like, oh, I love you, you know, and you're just kind of like, just like gibberish. And it's basically all you say is like, I love you, and a bunch of gibberish. He said, that's actually what it's like to start hearing from God, though. He said that's actually how you hear from God, is if you listen to him, just say like, just precious little stuff that doesn't really have any great meaning, that's not something big that you were just supposed to like go tell the world, but it transforms you and it transforms your heart, and because you hear him say, I love you. All those little things, and like being faithful and choosing to sit down and hear, to go out and serve, and to do like whatever little thing that you can do, whatever little part you can do. That's actually the foundation that gives you the strength and the what's the word? The sturdiness, I guess. That's not really what I want to say, but that works. To be able to actually do the big things. Because if you never right now learn how to do the small things and do them faithfully, when the big chances come along, when the big things come along, you will not have the power and you will not have the strength to be able to do that. And so you can actually do something right now, and you are actually being used by God right now. It just might not look like what you think it looks like, you know. When you let God do the transform your heart with his love, and every day you go to him and you get filled up with just how amazing he is and how much he loves you, it changes everything. And there's people around you, you won't even have to say a word, and they will say, what's up? Like, what's going on with you? Like, something has changed. And that right there is your starting point. And you have an opportunity to start speaking, hey, I'm being transformed with love. Like, I'm realizing how much I'm loved. And you know what? You're loved too. And the thing that's happening to me, it can happen to you. And little by little, it begins to spread out. And that's actually how the world gets changed, is little by little, person to person. You begin to reach people. And it goes out all through the world, and it's so beautiful and so amazing, but we often forget the power of that, and we sit around and we just wait, and nothing ever happens, because we're not waiting with purpose. You know? There's a difference between just like waiting and waiting with like a goal, with a purpose. Like I'm sitting here and I'm listening, I'm being faithful, and I'm waiting because I know that one day something's gonna happen that's really big. But right now I'm okay with the little things. I'm okay with what I can do right now because I'm letting it in God's hands that off in the future sometime He's gonna do something, and I'm okay with that. Right now I can just do the little things because they're so important. Also, just the illustration of that same speaker from Costa Rica that he used was, it's like that song, Fill Up Your Cup. He said, it's like we go to this fountain that God had, like just His love and His goodness, and we fill it up, and we try and pour it out on people, and we're just pouring it out, and we get really exhausted. And he said, we never drink from it ourselves. He said, so often we just like take all this stuff and try and like pour it on other people, and he said, we're not taking it in. And he said, sometimes you have to sit there first, and you have to just take a big drink. He said, if that was not enough, you take another one. If that was not enough, you take another one. He said, you keep doing that again and again and again until you have enough. And then when you're full, when you're ready, then you can go share it with someone else. And that just like stuck with me because I was like, I think I do that half of the time. Like, I love to serve people and I love to help people, but I can often forget about myself. And just that illustration of like hearing it from God first until it's enough for me, and then I can have enough for somebody else. And that is something like so simple that every single one of us can do, is sit before God and be like, I need to hear from you about who I am and how much I am and what you say about me, how much you love me. And it's not hard work, you know? Like, we often make it out so much bigger than it has to be. Like, oh, I have to do all these big crazy things, and it's so simple. Like, just sit there and let Him tell you how much He loves you, so that you can then go out and tell somebody else how much He loves them. It's not like some formula, like, okay, today I'm gonna do like just 1 cup and then I'll be good and I can go. You know, some days you're gonna need 100 cupfuls, some days you're gonna need 1, and you never know. Do not treat yourself like I'm sorry. Do not treat yourself like a robot that just, it's the same. Like, okay, I have my 5-minute devotions today, so I should be good, so I can go on with my day, you know? And like, it has to be the same thing every day. It's not the same thing every day. It's, you're always growing and changing, and different days you need different things, and always take the time to sit there until you feel like you're full, and then you can go and fill somebody else up. We actually need to be able to hear from love Himself so that we can go out and be loved to other people. That is, like, yeah, the most important thing. Like, I know it's like beautiful to have all these skills and all these wonderful things that you can use, but if you have not learned how to sit and just receive that love, those skills will be useless. Like, I'm sure there's so many of you out here that have so many beautiful gifts and so many good things to offer, but you're like wondering, like, I don't know how to do that, or maybe you feel like you have no gifts and it's just like nothing, and I can't do anything right now, and just that whole thing. And it's so easy to get caught up in that mindset, but you need to stop it and you need to say, no, that is not true. I am loved. That's who I am, and I need to sit there. I need to receive that until those thoughts go away. I need to remind myself who I am. And after that, I get to go out and remind other people. And I get to be light. I get to be love. I get to be life. And that is something that is so needed in our world today. Like, if anything could really change the world, it's all those things. Like, if every single person in here would simply just be, like, pure love for one day, can you imagine what would happen to all the people that we would meet? Like, that's insane. Like, that would just... I don't know, I just like thinking about it. I get these really weird mental pictures, and I can't really explain it, but it just looks really cool in my head. It's just like all these like insane, like glowing people, just like transforming other people with their light, and it's so beautiful, and it's actually so simple. And it's something that you could literally do today, is go out and be light and be love. now I just feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over again. So I have all this stuff written out. I don't even know if I said it all or I said it all in order, but I'm pretty sure I did say it all. I don't know if there was anything else. One last thing. There was someone else that had been talking about on my DTS. They said that what makes a righteous man is not that he is like perfect or never fails, never falls, but it's actually that he gets back up again. And it's the verse in Proverbs 24:16. It says, "For the righteous falls 7 times and rises again, but the wicked stumble in times of calamity." And I just want to give you encouragement if you feel like you've just kind of been failing lately, or you just feel like, you know, you've not been living out like your call, or you've not been doing whatever, and you just feel like you're just missing all of it, and you feel like you're just doing a terrible job, and every time you try, you just keep falling. Like, what makes you righteous is not that you're getting it perfect right now, it's that you choose to keep getting up and keep going after what God has told you, and keep going after those things, and keep loving those people. And that's actually what creates that righteousness in you, is when that discipline, when you actually are disciplined and making to choose those things and choose to those little things every day that transform your life, and just that create that like love force in you that is going to change the world. So I want to do that thing now.